For us, I think the game changer was really the fact that there have been significant advancements in testing, primarily this antigen testing. Antigen testing detects certain proteins in the virus, and it can actually detect a level of virus that is thought to be below the level of infectivity. So basically, you're catching somebody with a positive before they're even contagious. That's a huge breakthrough in this. If we can do that on a daily basis, which is what's in our proposal, then we can identify people before they're even infectious, and we can remove them and really maintain the sanctity and the health of the team. So that was primarily the biggest game changer, is the fact that these antigen tests are out there, labs are developing them, and they're receiving emergency use authorizations for release. The second thing, I think, was the cardiac implications of the virus and the concerns for myocarditis. We have a couple Big Ten institutions who had some real challenges in trying to get cardiac MRI, which is one of the mainstays of the evaluation in order to truly rule out the possibility of myocarditis in an athlete. And so now, with the fact that we've been able to secure some workarounds where every institution could have access to cardiac MRI, that was the other game changer. So at the very beginning, the reason to postpone was based on health and safety. And in the end, the reason to resume is again based on health and safety. It's really focused on the testing and the cardiac evaluation.
Thank you.
Our next question comes from Adam Rittenberg from ESPN. Adam?
Hey guys, thanks for the time. I had one for Dr. Mjaanes and one for Jim. For Dr. Mjaanes, I know you were on the subcommittee that spoke to the presidents, the small group, and then the whole group. I'm just wondering if you could describe what those meetings were like, what their primary concerns were, and what the main points you and your colleagues are trying to get across that had maybe changed from mid-August when the league postponed.
Yeah, appreciate the question. So I was on the task force that Dr. Phillips mentioned with Sandy Barber and Dr. Jim Borchers from OSU being the co-chairs of that. I'll be honest with you, the discussions were great. They were long. We had some really long meetings, but they were never contentious. Everybody really came in with the exact same approach, which was how do we make this work? How do we create the safest path forward for football? I think we all felt that it was possible, but we needed some key things in place, some key elements in place in order to do that. And one of those was the testing, as I mentioned. The other was the cardiac MRI. The last piece is really the contact tracing piece, which is something that still needs to be figured out to some degree. But we think that with daily antigen testing, if you're able to identify somebody before they're actually contagious and we can remove them, it almost completely eliminates the need for contact tracing. And so it actually helps solve that problem secondarily. We still need to have these conversations with our public health departments in each individual state and make sure that everybody is on board. But those were the big game changers for us. The conversations were great. Everyone was on the same page in terms of how we go about this, and in the end it was completely unanimous that we should proceed with this and that this was indeed the safest path forward. I would say that the answer probably lies within the public health department, given the fact that this is a public health crisis. The public health department helps us determine that. There's really no set number of cases or anything like that, although in the Big Ten agreement, we do talk about a test positivity rate of 5% and a population positivity rate of 7.5% as being a limit where we would probably want to shut things down for a brief period and then kind of reassess. But as far as a game being canceled, it would really kind of depend on multiple factors, including number of positive cases on the team, number of positive cases within a population, number of positive cases on campus and in the local community.
Where do you plan to do the post-COVID heart screenings or the cardiac MRIs?
Yeah, so so we've worked really well with our cardiologists here at Northwestern Medicine since the get-go. And we've been already doing EKGs, echocardiograms, and cardiac enzymes on our student athletes. We have been doing some cardiac MRIs already as well. And so the plan is to continue to do those through Northwestern Medicine. We have a cardiac MRI up here in Lake Forest, and then we have several downtown. So we'll be working between all the locations, but we'll get it done close to home.
I've seen conflicting reports about where the antigen daily testing is coming from. Where's the Big Ten getting the resources for the testing?
The Big Ten is working with a couple major lab companies in the United States. I'm not sure that the deal is quite finalized yet. The discussions are still ongoing, so I'm not sure that I'm actually at liberty to say. I've not been involved with those discussions, but I have been updated on the status in terms of what they could offer us, and they do offer us enough testing to proceed. The testing would be all done through one of these major labs. It would not take from any local resources. We've actually been able at Northwestern to really expand our testing in a partnership with Northwestern Medicine and Tempest Labs, and so we've actually got a fairly robust system right now for testing our students, our grad students and our undergrad students. I'm happy to say that this testing would not take from that in any way. In fact, one of the tenets, one of the principles of our task force was that there be no negative impact on state, regional, and local resources for fighting COVID-19. So I feel really good about where we landed with that.